Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2, Section 5, and today we are going to present to you about our law presentation, specifically on question 4. Okay, the first one is how agency is created in Malaysian law. Before we start, we need to know who is an agent. An agent under Section 135 Contract Act 1950 is a person employed to do any act for another or to represent another in dealing with the third parties. Agency involves a contractual relationship between the principal and agent. The importance is that agency facilitates business transaction by allowing agents to enter contract on behalf of principals. These are the parties involved in agency. Methods of creating agency, there are 5 in total. The first one is agency by implied appointment, which means that agency is implied when the behavior of the principal and agent show an intention to create agency. There are 2 types. The first one is agency by conduct, action indicate authority, and the second one is agency by relationship. For example, partners in a partnership, husband and wife in a certain situation. The second one is agency by ratification. What does this mean? It means that arise when a principal approve and accept an act done by a person who acted without authority or beyond the authority given. There are 5 key elements. The first one is agent acted without authority. Principal have knowledge of material. Principal legal capacity must exist. Act is capable of being ratified. Occur within reasonable time. This could be explained with an example of Abu buy good without Ali permission. Later Ali approved the purchase. Agency is created retrospectively. Next. The third one is agency by express appointment. This means that agency is created through clear words, either orally or in writing from the principal to agent. In legal principle, the principal expressly appoints an agent. For example, a company appoints a sales manager through an employment contract. The key features are: principal clearly state the agent authority. The appointment can be made through a written contract, oral instruction, or no ambiguity. The fourth one is agency by necessity. This means that this arises when a person becomes an agent by force of circumstance, even though the principal did not express or impliedly appoint them. This agency usually arises in emergency situation when immediate action is needed to protect the principal's interest. There are 4 conditions that need to be met. The first one is genuine emergency. The second one is impossible to contact principal. The third one, action taken in good faith. The fourth one, act in the best interest of principal. For example, a transport company sells perishable goods to prevent spoilage. And the last one is estoppel, meaning agency by estoppel arises when the principal word or conduct lead a third party to reasonably believe that a person is their agent, even though no real authority was given. Their key features are representation by the principal, reliance by the third party, and change of position or determinant. For example, could be shown in the relevant case. These are the relevant cases. Great Northern Railway Co. versus Swafield 1874 is agency by necessity. The fact is that Swafield sent his horse by train. When the horse arrived, nobody came to collect it. The railway company could not contact the owner and therefore arranged for the horse to be kept at a stable to ensure its safety. Why this is related? Because railway company acted without prior authority from the owner, but in an emergency situation, immediate action to protect the owner property. Since it was impossible to obtain instruction and the company acted in a good faith for the owner benefit, the law treated the company as an agent of necessity. The second one is Cayley, Maxted and Co. versus Duran in 1901, which is shown as an agency by ratification. The fact is that Robert was authorized by Cayley, Maxted and Co. to purchase wheat at a maximum price. However, Robert bought the wheat at a higher price than authorized and entered the contract in his own name, without disclosing that he was acting for Cayley, Maxted and Co. What is the relation to this agency? The relation is that Roberts did not act as an agent for a disclosed principal. Therefore, Cayley, Maxted and Co. could not ratify the contract and become bound by it. So I will pass to the next presenter.
You likely add up stuff in that ends. In public law, Society needs a highly structured roadmap to ensure disputes don't turn into chaos. Today, we are plugging into the Malaysian court system into our legal GPS. This hierarchical framework is designed to allow a systematic flow of justice, enabling appeals to travel upward from lower courts to higher courts. This roadmap is governed primarily by two foundational pieces of legislation: the Courts of Judicature Act 1964 and the Subordinate Courts Act 1948. As we navigate this today, keep its two core objectives in mind: ensuring justice is administered fairly and providing a robust appeal mechanism so trial courts never get the absolute last word without checks and balances. Let's look at the actual map. The Malaysian judiciary divides its roles into two main categories: the subordinate courts and the superior courts. Think of the subordinate courts consisting of the magistrate courts and session court as our everyday local streets handling high-volume traffic. Above them, we hit the highway, the superior courts comprising the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the peak, the Federal Court. Notice that the outlier on your map, the Sharia Court, it doesn't speak above or below. It runs as a completely separate, parallel transit system altogether. Let's explore these checkpoints starting from the very top. We have arrived at the summit, the Federal Court, the final authority of the Malaysian judiciary. Once a decision is made here, the road ends. It cannot be appealed further. The Federal Court handles four critical legal functions. The first one, Final Court of Appeal. It hears final appeals from the Court of Appeal in both civil and criminal cases. Second, Constitutional Matters. It interprets the Federal Constitution and decides on constitutional rights. The third one, Disputes between government. It has exclusive jurisdiction to settle disputes between the federal government and the state or between states. And the fourth one, Advisory Jurisdiction. His Majesty Yang di-Pertuan Agong may refer burning constitutional question here for an expert legal opinion. Stepping down, we find the Court of Appeal, the second highest court. Serving as a massive legal filter, his primary job is to review civil and criminal decisions made by the High Court to ensure the law was applied correctly. Right below, it is the High Court, a superior court with extensive powers. It is split into two equal High Court in Malaya and the High Court in Sabah and Sarawak. The High Court handles the heavyweights, civil claims involving large amounts of money or complex legal disputes, and serious criminal offences such as murder, drug trafficking, and armed robbery. Now, let's look at the foundational levels. The Session Courts is the highest subordinate court, handling a massive volume of cases including motor vehicle disputes, landlord-tenant matters, and most criminal offences except those punishable by death. Below, it is the Magistrate Court, divided into first and second class. This is the public first point to access to justice, handling minor criminal offences and small civil claims. But what about the parallel track? The Sharia Court deals exclusively with Islamic law and generally has jurisdiction over Muslim only, established by state legislatures. It is completely insulated under Article 121 Sub 1A of the Federal Constitution. Civil courts have absolutely no jurisdiction over matters that fall within the Sharia court's domain. To see how this roadmap functions under stress, let's look at two landmark federal court cases. In PP versus QAHIER on 2008, the court examined whether executive powers regarding juvenile detention violated the separation of powers. The federal court held the provision constitutional, firmly reaffirming the core role and the powers of superior courts within Malaysia's judicial system. In Latifah Madzin versus Rosmawati Sharibun on 2007, a dispute arose over a deceased Muslim estate inheritance known as faraid. The federal court ruled decisively that Islamic inheritance falls strictly within the jurisdiction of the Sharia court, enforcing Article 121 Sub 1A and clarifying that civil courts cannot interfere in exclusively Islamic legal matters. In conclusion, from the local magistrate court to the ultimate constitutional rulings of the federal court, this structured roadmap ensures every legal issue in Malaysia has a clear destination, a fair hearing, and a proper path to justice. And thank you. That's all for our presentation today.